Welcome to our broadcast, folks. Welcome in the ring to each and every one of you. Welcome, 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 welcome. Almost caught me unawares. Good to have each and every one of you with us. It's Friday, the 28th day of February. It's the last day in February. Tomorrow is March 1. Believe it or not. What happened today in the White House? I can't leave you all alone for 2 minutes. What? I watched that thing and I was cringing. It was cringeworthy. Like I fed up. Like I fed it up. What's going on in the world today, folks? Y'all help me out. Help y'all, boy. Help y'all, boy. Help y'all. Share the damn live. Smash that emoji button, folks. Welcome in the ring. Welcome, welcome. Tell y'all this. Tis the year. Tis the season. Madness left, right, and center. Up north, down south, east, and west. Madness. Tis the year. Welcome to the broadcast, folks. How was it there at your end? Do let us know. All you fantastic folks watching us. Odessa, Roxanne, Odessa, Jacobs, Rastaman, we see you there, and Mandy and Carol Braffett, and Near Fortune, or Naya, Don. Good to have you, Oren and Karen and Dolly, Mandy, Michelle, Marvel and Andrew. Good to have all of you on the live tonight, folks. What's going on? What's going down? What's going down? You know, what's going down? What's going down? I watched that back and forth between Trump and Zelensky and the other one, Vance. My God. You remember Trump had a name for some countries? Something whole country. I won't call the word tonight. I look at that and I say, well, this must be one of them. This must be one of them. What's going down in the world, folks? What's going on in the world today? What's going on in the world today? Elizabeth Narayan joining us from Sparkle City says 2 bullies attacked a patriotic president, a felon and his henchman lost to Zelensky. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? How do you guys? That's Elizabeth's thoughts. What are your own thoughts? My God, folks, please tell me it gets better. Please tell me this gets a little better. Please, I'm begging you all. This week, I'll live for test this season. Internationally and locally, test the season. All manner of things. Folks, the opener had a press conference today, or press conferences today. PNCR and the Alliance for Change. Folks, I'll give you all the short of it because we got a lot to talk about on this subject matter. PP and easy. PPP and easy. I want to see that Trump and Irfan meeting. I'm certain Irfan wanted to meet Trump bad. Probably called Jagdeo right away and say, all right, hold on. Hold on. PP and easy. Them boy backpedal and biometrics, you know. I'll show you tonight. Them boys have backpedaled on biometrics. That's what I want you to know. Backpedal on biometrics. Take a look. Take a listen. The opener as we begin tonight.
Vice President Jagdeo has backtracked on his 2015 call for biometrics to place a poll. At his most recent press conference on Thursday, he made an interesting claim about biometrics. Chairman of the People's National Congress Reform, Sherwin Benjamin, noted the change in position at the press conference today.
Jagdeo continues to grasp at straws in resisting the use of biometric technology to register and verify the identity of voters. Recently, he claimed that such system would disenfranchise voters as it would give presiding officers too much power.
Benjamin said that Jagdeo had done more than call for fingerprint biometrics. He had also called for getting rid of the paper ballot, according to Benjamin.
This is the same Jagdeo who, after the PPP's defeat in 2015, aggressively demanded not only fingerprint biometric, but voter verification, but also electronic voting. In other words, he and its party were even advocating for voting without ballot paper.
On the question of elections officers disenfranchising voters, Benjamin said that no such fear is warranted. There may be the need for the Guyana Elections Commission to hire the relevant experts.
We see no difficulty in recruiting such expertise as early as next month. If the PPP is serious about fair and credible elections in 2025, let them immediately throw their support behind this initiative. If they wish to show that they are serious about the demands made in 2015 about digital biometrics, they will then allow their GCOM commissioners to join ours in support.
Meanwhile, the People's National Congress Reform is visiting the various communities, meeting and talking with people.
The reception to the party has been good. The feel on the ground is that people are fed up of the PPP's incompetence, mismanagement, and misrule, and they can't wait to get rid of this incompetent government.
And the next step of the funnels would be a series of public meetings in the various communities.
Public meeting plans are afoot to have those meetings start immediately. We are going to roll out a series of those. As you've seen, when the leader visits, he will end with public meetings, as was the case in Region 1.
Yeah, welcome back, folks. Welcome back. You heard it there. And we're going to unpack that tonight. You won't share the life. We're going to unpack that tonight. Folks, believe it or not, as a matter of transparency, you know that the General Secretary of the PNCR, Sherwin, Ganesh, and I were all batchmates at UG at the same time. Yeah. Sherwin did law with me, and Ganesh was idle on campus most of the times. most of the time, but we were all batchmates together. See, I could actually show you my batchmates. I can point them out to you. I wonder if Irfan could show me his batchmates from Iflat University. And people could point to him and say, yeah, he and I went to the same class, Iflat University. Sherwin was my batchmate. UG, those were the good days. Those were the days, folks. Students now got it easy. But that's another story. That's another story. As I said, 'tis the season. Election 2025. Yep, we got some things trending. I don't know what kind of world we're living in. I told you folks, that meeting in the Oval Office today, cringeworthy. Trump says it's going to be good for television. It's going to be good for television. Leslyn, Marcia, Lester, Brenda, Sebastian Orlal from Region 6. He said it's going to be good for television, folks. You understand that we could put the US now in Russia column. That's the team. And Zelensky and the other European countries. Don't let me fool myself. Look, folks, I tell you, we big. Daphne, Colin, Rastaman, Ingrid, Wernella, Wendy, we big. Sudhari, we big. We get straight to the point. Whatever it is. We get straight to the point. Other European nations, or European nations rather, standing. I've seen since this meeting, several European heads of state took to social media to say, we stand with Russia. We stand with Russia. We stand with Russia. Patricia says, Irfan forget his batchmate. We stand with Russia. Several European leaders. So the Brits, so the French, we stand with Russia. My God. Folks, I can't even show y'all. It upset my whole soul. And few things do that. I see a couple of things in the time. Hear a couple of things. Experience a couple of things. But this one, when you think, Ann and Desmond, Joylin, Heather, Tommy, just when you think it can get worse, Jesus of mercy. Mercy. Folks, smash that emoji button for us. Please and thank you. And then in the UK, one of the ministers quit on principle. You know, we in the US, we are the exception. I was going to say it's us alone. Us in the US, we're the exception to the rule. The lady had her budget cut. The UK development minister, she didn't like the rationale and the reasoning, and she said, well, I can see you all another time. You know, some people would sit down, see wrongdoing, see young Amerindian girls getting raped, see boys being taken advantage of. This installed regime, they wouldn't say nothing. They would see first ladies getting locked outside, locked out the door. They would know in marriages, in relationships, people in government beating their spouses. They say nothing, they sit down quiet. Sit down quiet. You see? Sit down quiet. That same 50% they were arguing up new ministers get, they roll it back, you know. They increased it by another 50% since they came in. These are the hypocrites I'm talking about. And I'll show you the chief hypocrite tonight. So that's happening in the UK, folks. And then we see Greece. They had a horrific train crash. And the people there protesting in the thousands, clashing with police. Now, you all know this side of the Atlantic, Honorable Nima flew best. We got the most dangerous roadways in the world. MP flew best. You know that. You drive this road. These roads, the most dangerous roadways in the world. In the world. We got them here. It's true. We got them here. Anybody protesting? Anybody? Them boys want to fix it? People don't want another crash like that to happen. Whoever's to be blamed, whatever it is, whatever it is. You got to fix. Leaders are elected to fix problems, Leon Blair, not kick it down the road. Not to kick it down the road. Since last year, well, year before the last, it's 2023, that December, everyone said we could have a national conversation on the carnage on our roads and waterways. We're still waiting. We're in a holding pattern. You think some leaders in other parts of the world, you could have another term and you deal with things you promised since year before the last. So in principle, the UK minister resigned, and then the folks here in Greece believe in what they're fighting for. You know, the good book says, this Friday night is a church service happening somewhere. We must contend for the faith, not be content, you know. Ending with a T, ending with a D, contend. You got to fight for this thing. And that time for passivity is over. You're being passive and, oh, what's the comes to do? No, not this year. Too much at stake, folks. Look what's happening in the world there. Thought I'd just give you a snapshot in a graphic format. What's happening in the world? Upside down. I blame Trump. I don't care what you all said. I blame he. Like I blame them boys since August 2nd, 2010 when they come in. Here's some confusion. Confusion powder. Reigning supreme. It's them I blame. Who you want I blame? It's them. I blame them. That's what I say. I blame them. Folks, good night, good night, good night. Good to see all of you on the live. Beatrice and Wilma, Mandy and Corrine. Good to see Glycis. I see Kirk and Alfred. Good to have all of you on the live. Smash that emoji button, folks. Share the live. Please and thank you. Madness in the White House today. Madness. You know, like some, them boys take a little from here and sprinkle. How y'all doing, Brian? Brian Daniels. Savage Dish. Hewley Trotman will have all of you on the live tonight. My God, what's happening in our world? PP government in easy, you know. Friends, dear friends, wherever you're joining us from, understand, and Luther continue, the struggle continues. It continues. Them boys not easy. They're not. They're easy at all. Folks, told you I'd circle back to biometrics. I ain't tell you I can circle back to biometrics. Here's story now. Here's story now. There's a house in Ogle. Right. There is a house in Ogle. Might as well have been a hotel. At this one premises, this one location, you got 110 registered voters. At this particular house, Ogle Sugar Estate. Of course, you know Ogle is in District 4, Region 4. 110. I want you all to know the rigging start, you know. Don't take lampstick and look for what you're seeing in broad daylight. Is GCOM going to send in an investigative team? Huh? To see what's happening? This one address. We're doing the work on the ground. This work is door by door by door, you know. That's how you're going to know what's happening on that voters list there. 110 registered on one address. One address. You know, when we were growing up, we were so poor. My house is so small, yeah, but 15 of inside. Most houses can't hold more. How? Where you fit in 110? People have to sleep in shifts. House so crowded the torrent, you have to come outside. You know about growing up tough? You know about growing up tough? 110. I am telling you tonight, good folks, the rigging done start. And some people are going to wait for that candlestick to go and look for nighttime when they see them broad daylight. But I want to come to biometrics. You know the stance on this issue called biometrics. Right? You know the stance in it. They're heavily against biometrics. As a matter of fact, here the fear mongering in yesterday's press conference by the Vice President on biometrics. Hear the fear mongering in case you missed it last evening. Hear it.
But to give 2,500 presiding officers the authority to determine whether you will vote or not, when you go to the polling place and then they come up with they have these biometrics now and say, you failed the biometrics, you can't vote, or I'll give you a tendered ballot, which doesn't get counted. Just imagine that were that to happen in 10 polling places. That will be the beginning of the confusion that they were cheated. That's one. Two, they want to ensure, that's why they're insisting also, not so much now, that they want cameras at every polling place. So if you have cameras at every polling place and they deliberately caused 10 of them to malfunction, especially in, say, their stronghold or the PPP stronghold, they will ask for the results of those 10 cameras and then say, oh, the cameras are now working. There must have been something wrong, that there was a plot to steal elections. The PNC's inventiveness on stealing can't be underestimated. They have done this as a science. They have developed this into a science, stealing elections, from a very long time. And we are watching at every attempt to sow confusion. In the last elections, people went, they voted, 661,000 people on the list, 461,000 voted. That was it. The rest could not vote because they didn't present themselves to the station. We have a robust system now to ensure against voters' impersonation.
Yeah. You know what he has developed as a science, as an art form? Lying. being duplicitous. He has elevated it to an art form. Being duplicitous, lying. Just the other day, I take it by now you'll figure out that he is not for biometrics. He is not for biometrics. But just the other day, folks, same fella, wanted biometrics. Same fella, same chap was calling for biometrics, same fella. And he know who has developed what as an art form. This wasn't 20 years ago. Wasn't 25 years ago. Good folks. It was just the other day. It was just the other day. Look, some of the things he was asking for. Hold on. Look, some of the things the fellow was asking for. 2015, when they lost the election, you know. Suddenly he want a whole host of things. Biometrics, same fellow. Look at 2015, what he asked for. He said he wanted biometrics to prevent unlawful voting. Michelle Lowe, Tommy Gibbs, Ivor, Eva, Debbie, Joel, Jamo. He said they wanted to prevent unlawful voting. Same fella. Same Jagdeo. He highlighted cases, including, he said, Victoria, presiding officers allowed individuals to vote despite not being eligible. He has to apologize to the folks at Victoria, Jemo. He has to apologize to them. Cecilia, Kirk, Avril. He said that polling agents, especially in hostile areas, this is PNC areas he's talking about, how he disrespectful. In hostile areas, right, polling agents were afraid to object to illegal voting. Twist mouth Jagdeo. To mouth Jagdeo Rastaman. He said the polling agents were afraid. He didn't stop there. He said he wanted to enhance biometrics beyond just photo ID, and that this could minimize such instances of illegal voting by providing a more secure voter verification process. Same fellow, you know. Leslyn, Audrey, Brenda, same duplicitous fellow. He has elevated it to an art form. You think he was finished there? No. I told you folks, the biometrics he asked for went beyond. It was more expansive than what we asked for. You think the fella stopped there? He didn't stop there. Donald Spellman. He said he wanted electronic voting with a paper backup. Oh, Jesus have mercy. Somebody take the mic tonight. He want you vote on paper alone, you know. He said the main thing gonna be electronic voting, Mark. Debbie, Eric, Roger, Sandra, Auntie Sandra. He said he wanted electronic voting with a paper backup. This was a dual system. In 2015, the fellow advocated for. He said where voters use a machine with enhanced biometrics to cast the vote. Same fella who telling us now, oh, you gotta jump in every shadow. He said after voting electronically, a small paper ballot would be emitted, serving as a physical record. Same fellow who is diametrically opposed now. Sue friend, totally opposed to what he argued for yesterday, you know. He said the system would ensure both electronic and manual verification, reducing potential fraud. Now, isn't that what all of us want? Ain't it what all of us want, good folks? To reduce potential fraud? All of us want that. But no, he want biometrics. You think the fella stopped there? No. He didn't stop there. I told you he was more expansive. He said this biometric verification. Who's sharing the damn life, man? Who's sharing the life tonight? He said this enhanced biometric verification would prevent presiding officers from distributing extra ballots to individuals. Lord of mercy. He said it would prevent that. Prevent it. And then he said that this requirement for biometric authentication before accessing the voting process would serve as a safeguard against election fraud. Folks, ain't we all want that? Ain't we all want that? What are we asking for that is different? You hear how he's expansive on what he wanted as enhanced biometrics. He didn't stop there. He said we must ensure fair hiring at GCOM. All of this is so that we have valid and credible elections and that we have a result that we all can be proud of. That we all can be proud of. He stressed the need for fair hiring at GCOM. And he called for the preventing of individuals who are openly affiliated with political parties from being employed at GCOM, ensuring impartiality in the election process. Now, you know by now some of what we heard about the CEO, the DCO, and the whole pack of them, including Claudette. So as I've said to you folks, the thing done start to rig. And what you see in broad daylight, brothers and sisters, don't let me take lamp stick to go look from nighttime. Don't let me do it. But don't take me word for it. Don't take my word for it alone. Because you're going to say, look, the man never said that. I'm lying for you now. Nobody could be so expansive on the need for biometrics and then come now today and say, no, I ain't want this thing no more. The man himself.
We need enhanced biometrics. Because when some presiding officers said, like we had some cases in Victoria, this is Mr. X, just looking at the photo, and the polling agent from the party sits across the room or is in a hostile area, is afraid to object, they allowed a number of people to vote who should not have voted. But if you have biometrics, enhanced biometrics outside of just a photo ID, it could minimize that happening. We are going to push for electronic voting. Now, you have a system where you can do both. You can vote in the machine, and then it gives you, when you finish voting with the machine with enhanced biometrics, it emits a small paper which shows a ballot, which shows how you voted, which you can then, like some systems have this method, which you can then put in the ballot box. So you have both systems. You can only access the voting through enhanced biometrics, like an iris scan, but you safeguard against presiding officers or anyone else acting capriciously and giving extra ballots out to people. But it's a dual system. It's both electronic and manual. That is paper trail.
Yes.
So we are going to be pushing for that. We have to ensure a fair system of hiring in GCOM, a fair system of hiring people, and that people who are affiliated with political parties do not work in GCOM. who have been openly partisan.
Folks, I want to hear it again. Please indulge me. Might I hear it again?
We need enhanced biometrics, because when some presiding officers said, like we had some cases in Victoria, this is Mr. X, just looking at the photo, and the polling agent from the party sits across the room or is in a hostile area, is afraid to object, they allowed a number of people to vote who should not have voted. But if you have biometrics, enhanced biometrics outside of just a photo ID, it could minimize that happening. We are going to push for electronic voting. Now, you have a system where you can do both. You can vote in the machine, and then it gives you, when you finish voting with the machine with enhanced biometrics, it emits a small paper which shows a ballot, which shows how you voted, which you can then, like some systems have this method, which you can then put in the ballot box. So you have both systems. You can only access the voting through enhanced biometrics, like an iris scan, but you safeguard against presiding officers or anyone else acting capriciously and giving extra ballots out to people. But it's a dual system. It's both electronic and manual. That is paper trail.
Yes.
So we are going to be pushing for that. We have to ensure a fair system of hiring in GCOM, a fair system of hiring people, and that people who are affiliated with political parties do not work in GCOM, who have been openly partisan.
Duplicity. He has elevated it. He has elevated it to an art form. Duplicity. He's duplicitous. Mr. Duplicity himself elevated the thing to an art form. Folks, PNCR press conference today, and the General Secretary for the PNCR, Mr. Sherwin Benjamin, waded into this issue again. Biometrics. And says he's a hypocrite. Nothing but a hypocrite. Take a look at some of what the General Secretary of the
PNCR calls on the PPP to support the call for GCOM to urgently invite experts on biometrics before the next elections. Jagdeo continues to grasp at straws in resisting the use of biometric technology to register and verify the identity of voters. Recently, he claimed that such system would disenfranchise voters as it would give presiding officers too much power. This is the same Jagdeo who, after the PPP's defeat in 2015, aggressively demanded not only fingerprint biometric, but voter verification, but also electronic voting. In other words, he and his party were even advocating for voting without ballot paper. His current criticism against the digital biometrics are therefore two-faced and devious. His intentions are geared only toward maintaining an election system his party can exploit through fraud and other illegalities. On Jagdeo's specific charge against presiding officers having the power to disenfranchise voters, no such fear is warranted once all parties support GCOM to ensure adequate laws are enshrined, procedures are clearly outlined, officers are adequately trained, and parties can afford scrutineers to cover all polling stations. Guineas now are, however, overstraught with the claim and counterclaims from their political parties and GCOM itself, the merits and demerits of digital biometrics. Dispute and knowledge grasp over, however, could be readily resolved by employing the services of a reputable international firm of experts to advise GCOM and the nation about all the relevant aspects of the technology, including best practices and the implementation of timeframes. We see no difficulty in recruiting such expertise as early as next month. If the PPP is serious about fair and credible elections in 2025, let them immediately throw their support behind this initiative. If they wish to show that they are serious about the demands made in 2015 about digital biometrics, they will then allow their GCOM commissioners to join ours in support. We note also that Jagdeo's allegation that the opposition is pushing for cameras in polling places. We are not. The record will show that the PNCR and leader of the opposition, Mr. Aubrey Norton, at his last press conference early in last month, rejected the idea. He highlighted that the potential risk of PPP using the presence of cameras in polling places to further manipulate and intimidate voters. We hope we have cleared the air on that.
They're not easy. PPP not easy. They are duplicitous. Now the man is coming up with every reason under the sun why we shouldn't have biometrics. Every reason under the sun he can find why we shouldn't have biometrics. You think they're easy? Well, they're not. That's what I want to tell you. They are not easy, folks, at all. Fire in New Amsterdam today. Fire in New Amsterdam, destroy the house. Folks, no easy day in this country. Fires of the PPP, carnage on our roads and waterways, violence against women and girls. You all know we talk about these things all the time. All the time. Now they're telling us 3 individuals are now homeless after fire completely destroyed the 1-bedroom flat. On Thursday afternoon, at least that's 110 of them living in the one house. Yesterday afternoon, destroyed the home completely. This is Deborah Timmers, 33 years old, a self-employed resident, said that confirmed that she lived in this house with her son and common-law husband. And at approximately 14:30 hours, she left to visit her mother, who resided in Sisters Village. Upon her return, she received this devastating news that her home was engulfed in flames. The entire structure, folks, was gutted. Every day in this country. Inexplicable reasons like Trump and Putin. You can't understand it. Inexplicable reason. Things just combust. Things just combust. Poof. Fires of the PPP. Carnage on our roads continue as well. Man lost his life on the road today. Folks, never an easy day in this country. Police are investigating a fatal accident that occurred around noon today on the Baggotstown Public Road on the East Bank. A lorry owned by Tulsi Prasad, driven by one Wayne McBean, they said, a 59-year-old from Caneville, came into contact with a male pedestrian. His name and address not known at this time. Police said they were investigating. Carnage every day on our roadway. And this is something, folks, we got to tackle very frontally. We can't skirt the issue. We got to go head on. See, Tracy said, Guyana Cross. Tracy, girl, what I can tell you? What I can tell you if you see it all the time? What I can tell you? There's a bridge in success that is nearing on collapse. $1 trillion economy. And residents are calling their attention to this bridge. But you think them boys get time? You think them boys watching? You think them boys seeing? You think them boys know? You think them boys care? Bridge about to collapse. Success. On the East Bank, on the East Coast. A hop and a skip from the capital. The bridge going down for 1 time. It going down for 2 times. Bishop and Saint, Bishop and Care, well, we're going to only in Guyana. Only in Guyana. You know we get time with? You know we get time with? Folks, Vibes Cartel is in Guyana. In other news, Vibes Cartel is in Guyana. He said he's launching a rum. Then he's coming back later on to do some other things. What is he good at? He's launching rum today. Saw him at State House and eating watermelon and cooking curry. Shaking curry. An interesting moment for me was when the president introduced him to Ashley Singh. Said, this is the finance minister. And then he even turns to Ashley and says, tell him what you do. I mean, I think Vibes is a bright fella. Vibes Cartel. This short man, he's a finance minister. Ashley, tell him what you do. Folks, there's never a dull moment in this country. Never, ever, 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 ever a dull moment. As we said to wrap up, all them cash grant treating y'all folks. Y'all check yet? Your 100,000, Raquel, Heaven Faith, Everett, Rassiman, Chevron, Daphne. You get cash grant yet? This money is not government, it's not PP money, you know. This money belongs to the citizens of this country. You see, the resources of this country is not for select few. It's not for cabal. No, this thing's for all of us. Gold, bauxite, diamond, magnesium, nickel, copper, whatever it is. Oil, gas. It belongs to all of us. Rassiman, Auntie Sandra, collect your 100,000. Ingrid Pollard, collect your money. Folks, this system here, I thought they would have tweaked it after the first iteration of the cash grant distribution when we were waiting for the second 30 billion, 40 billion, give and take, 10 billion or so. I thought they would have tweaked the system to make it a little more efficient. But not them boys. You know, the Alliance for Change had a press conference today, and some of this came out. Some of it came out. Father Marsha, Godfrey Lane, Joy. Joy said, I ain't got my money yet. Joy, make sure, Alana, McAllister, make sure y'all get your money. It's not Freedom House money. Beverly Moore King, collect your money. Please and thank you. As I said, Lines for Change on the presser today. And Jurito Finance, among other folks, raised this issue of what's happening out there with this cash grant situation, the scam grant situation. Raised this whole issue. Said the thing chaotic, chaotic. Very, very chaotic. Take a look. Some what you said.
What I would say is whether or not it's acceptable, let's get to that. I think first we need to put on record that is true. It is factual. That report is factual. If you go to the various distribution sites, you will see the Ppp representatives there actually overseeing the processes as how the distributions are done. And they're going to be claiming that they are persons that are actually, they are public servants, that's how they're distributing. Now I believe I saw, it was a letter I believe in a newspaper that someone was basically saying that they actually resigned from their job and so because they couldn't deal with all of that timings and so forth, and there were reports and allegations made that in some regions the regional officials, the PPP regional officials, were actually giving some top up to some persons while none to the others who were working there to distribute those checks. When you see politicians get involved, it becomes a different ball game, and I see what's going on right now. I would say it's unethical for the PPP representatives to go out there and to be fronting this process, because you will see them making it more chaotic instead of making it more a smoother flow. If the public servants was left to do this on their own, Swedlana, I can assure you, if you had paid public servants to go out there and aid it in this distribution process and design a system, they would have done it flawlessly. That is what I'm absolutely sure about. And again, I would say, going back to the National Assembly, it was none other than Walt Lawrence who asked the question when we went for the supplementary in December. when the PPP came for that ball, asked the question as to how much of this money is being budgeted for the distribution exercise. How much are you putting to offset the costs persons may incur to aid in the distribution? And there was absolutely no money budgeted. So the PPP from the beginning is to be blamed for all the chaos, and they continue to be making it more chaotic by putting their representative to oversee those various distribution centers.
To the finance there. And another issue that was raised here with this cash grant distribution is these excessively long lines. And not only that, how our elderly folks too have to suffer through waiting for many, many hours to get their cash grant. Clearly, surely, a more efficient system could have been put in place. Kathy was on that point.
We have records and calls from individuals that have gone 3 consecutive days and on one day spend 8 hours. So you've asked them to line up now to collect. And then at the banks are in a total, are having a total nightmare because they have lines of people waiting to go into cash. Some banks, we got a report yesterday, some banks are saying to individuals, you have to open a bank account. And other banks are actually charging people that have an account at that same bank, they're charging them to change their checks. So you have to say, if all the public servants are paid directly into their bank accounts by the Ministry of Finance, all the pensioners either collect their book or are paid into bank accounts. A good number of the population of Guyana that were due to receive these cash grants could have had the monies go directly into their bank accounts without forcing these individuals to spend close to 3 days in terms of hours fighting confusion, who collapsed to collect $100,000. Is that the best we as a nation can do to our people, especially the pensioners? So you have to ask the question, why has the PPP deliberately done it this way? Why have they deliberately put the nation under so much stress to give the people monies that belong to them? This is not a donation from the PPP or any political party. This is the money that Guyana has earned, and Guyanese have a right to collect.
Kathy Hughes there, folks. Kathy Hughes there. And as we bring the curtain down on our broadcast for this week, as we bring the curtains down, my God, cash grant madness. Madness. Bring the curtains down. Judy picks up back on the point of how frustrated people are out there. The desperation in our Guyanese. And no, some folks say, you have 6 months to cash the check. Brothers and sisters, our Guyanese brothers and sisters don't have 6 months. 6 months, in 6 months, they could be under. This cash grant wasn't meant for go to concerts, It wasn't meant for stink and dirty. This cash grant was meant to be a relief from the high cost of living in this country. You can't wait 6 months. That's why we agreed on this on this measure as an opposition, because we know people are out there hurting financially in this country. People can't wait 6 months. That's madness. So again, really picks up on this point, the frustration and the desperation of our Guyanese brothers and sisters, and the fact that we should have gotten this second iteration of the cash grant distribution. We should have gotten it correct.
Member of Parliament Director of Finance has said that the cash grant distribution has become a source of desperation and frustration for many.
One of the most glaring issues is the chaotic and disorganized nature of the distribution process. Recipients are forced to endure long, exhausting lines at distribution centers and even longer and more exhausting lines at banks to cash their checks.
But it's only a part of the problem.
The cash grant distribution process has been marred by a system that fails to prioritize the most vulnerable. The absence of separate lines for elderly individuals, people living with disabilities, pregnant women, and women with babies or young children is deeply concerning.
The view is that the confusion is a deliberate ploy by the PPP government. One interesting disclosure came from the Attorney General Anil Nandlal.
Although the Attorney General is reported to have said that the relatives of persons who died after registering would be able to uplift their cash grant, the government has failed to put any system in place to address this. Similarly, residents of the Palms Geriatric Home were forced to join long lines at the Dorcas ground because their checks were not delivered to the facility.
There are even more problems with the distribution.
As many who registered before the deadlines are still left empty-handed. Perhaps most troubling is the fact that some individuals are being asked to re-register, despite having already completed the process.
There is another interesting situation in Region 7. There are checks printed for intended recipients locked away in a government office.
Checks were distributed on the 23rd and the 24th of December, those 2 dates respectively. Now what happened is after that, those persons that missed those dates, checks were printed, sent there, locked into the REO's office, are still there, cannot be distributed. We have no knowledge as to how many persons uplifted checks, how many checks were sent to the area, or any such data.
There is no information on how many such cases there are. Ms. Finance added that the information isn't forthcoming. There is also the case of people collecting and cashing checks intended for others.
A woman went to uplift her check in Grove, and when she got there to the desk, someone had already uplifted her check for her, and they had the audacity to ask her if she had a twin.
Distribution should have been done through the identification card or the passport number. It would seem that the distributors are relying on names in a country where many people have the same name.
Yep, that's going to do it for us tonight, folks. That's our time. That's our program. Thanks for joining us. We're going to see you right back here, folks, next week. Stay safe and have a fantastic weekend. Good to have had so many of you on the live tonight. Great to see all of you folks. Thanks for joining us, Raquel, Gentle, and Wilmo, and Bantu, Charles Nelson. Charles, thanks for joining us this evening. Bella Mona and Linda and Desiree and Sandra. And folks, my Lord, I see some of you putting in some figures there that people charging to change the check up to 15,000. Is their cash grant, is that you one? Magara, Maxine, Wilma, Heavenfit, Everett, Lester. Folks, have a fantastic weekend. Stay safe. Please and thank you. Stay safe. See you guys in the next.